Earl C. Anthony owned the Los Angeles Terraplane dealership until production ended in 1938, so he was hoping this promotional film would sell a lot of cars. He also sold Packard motor cars at a luxurious downtown showroom. Anthony was as passionate about radio as he was about automobiles, so if you look closely at the top of his building, you'll see both KFI, the radio station he started, and Packard on the antenna tower. Outside the showroom, there was a neon sign with the Packard logo made for Earl C. Anthony in Paris, where neon signs were invented. This one was the beginning of a new era for the city and for the nation.
As signage, neon began in Los Angeles. Yeah. The first neon sign in America was at Hope and Olympic, was the Packard dealership sign, brought to America by Earl C. Anthony in 1923.
That year, a neon sign could literally stop traffic in Los Angeles.
People were slamming on their brakes and probably causing accidents.
A new reproduction of America's first neon sign is outside the old Earl C. Anthony building, now called the Packard Lofts, downtown. This is the neon shop at the Williams Sign Company in Pomona. A life-size photo of Maurice Williams wearing a neon bow tie oversees all the work that's done here. The old tie itself rests in a corner on one of the workbenches. Williams started his family sign company in 1930 when the emphasis was on neon. All the signs at Fairplex in Pomona, for example, were made by Williams.
This used to be a little courtyard.
Today, Maurice's great-grandson runs the business, making modern signs for companies including In-N-Out Burger that have evolved beyond neon.
You're learning new things every day, you know, as technologies change and with designs of logos and things that come your way, you have to figure out how to turn it into a sign and turn it into something beautiful that your customer would purchase and love.
This is Brian Curry at work in the Williams Neon shop. He's demonstrating how to make a simple-looking but very difficult-to-bend sign, forming the letters M-O-N-A for Museum of Neon Art from one piece of glass. Brian blows air into the glass tube to keep it from collapsing as he moves back and forth between the fire and the pattern he's following.
I'm always trying to be precise on everything I do because you don't get a second chance. You have to have it done correctly the first time. So it's careful of measurements and balances and temperatures and everything like that.
And Brian should know. By his estimate, he's bent the tubes for close to half the neon signs in Las Vegas. Creating color involves another skill set and the use of different gases. Even though we call these neon signs, there's often some other gas instead of neon inside the tube. David Svensson learned to make signs so he could create artistry like this.
There's three things that go on here. It's colored glass, the color of the gas, and phosphor coatings. And in the neon industry, there are more argon mercury tubes than there are neon. Your turquoise, blue, greens, yellows, whites are all argon mercury. Neon is red.
When electricity is applied to the gas-filled tube, we finally see what the world calls a neon sign.
You came to me from out of nowhere.
The lights of Los Angeles aren't what they once were. This is Broadway in the heart of the city as it looks now. And this is the view from the same intersection in 1931.
Wonderful dreams.
There's so much neon, incandescent bulb, and lighting on the street that it looked like daylight. It was phenomenal. People in LA just don't realize that, how it looked in its heyday.
The neon in front of the Palace Theater, which is now 101 years old, still glows brightly every night directly across the street from the opulent and classically beautiful Los Angeles Theater. Down the street, the clock tower at the Eastern Columbia building rises out of the darkness like a monument to mysticism, while the Orpheum's neon marquee across the street is perfect, and the two adjacent Blade signs wink at passersby exactly as they have for most of the past 86 years. The rooftop sign is still spectacular as it's being converted from incandescent light bulbs to compact fluorescent or LED bulbs. These are just a few of the buildings featured on the Museum of Neon Art's Neon Cruises. Here's another downtown neon landmark.
The Bendix sign right behind me is one of the tallest in the city of Los Angeles. That capital B is 35 feet tall, believe it or not. Originally, when that was constructed in the late 1920s, it was a beacon for planes landing at what would become LAX. Believe it or not, they even had a giant neon arrow on the rooftop, visible only to planes flying, and that arrow pointed towards LAX.
Another downtown landmark is New Chinatown, where many of the buildings light up as soon as the sky goes dark. And of course, there's Felix Chevrolet near Exposition Park and USC. Elsewhere, there's the colorful neon palette at Carter Sexton Artist Materials and the neon clown at Circus Liquor, both in North Hollywood. In the Fairfax district, Cantor's is smothered in neon like a fresh, warm bagel should be loaded with cream cheese. While we're at it, there's Tommy's, the original, in the Rampart district. And in Hollywood, the neon sign that once helped shoppers find the world-famous Broadway department store has survived all the attempts to demolish it. Not far from here is the Holy Superette Light Church, a fine example of ecclesiastical neon.
We have more neon crosses and neon church signs than anyone else. The Holy Superette Light Faith believes in Jesus Christ and the human aura, which explains exactly why they respond so well to the glow of a neon sign.
Speaking of a glow, the newest neon in Los Angeles is on the new headquarters for Lucky Brand Jeans of America. It's on the west bank of the Los Angeles River between the 4th and 6th Street viaducts and the Arts District. It's a little less than 2.5 miles from Olympic and Hope, where America's first neon sign went up at Earl C. Anthony's Packard dealership almost 90 years ago. We'd like to think that Lucky Brand's motto for its jeans applies equally well to neon. They are both too tough to dodge.